What's up, y'all? Welcome back. I have a quick little video that I wanted to get out for you to just kind of kickstart the new year and get me back into the swing of things because vlogmas wore me out. But today I'm just gonna tell you what you need to start your own YouTube channel in 2025 from a fellow beginner. Okay, everything in my hands is pretty much all you're gonna need to start your YouTube channel if you take my recommendations. Okay, so first let's do a little backstory on how my YouTube channel has gone, or my YouTube journey, I guess, has gone. So I started posting about 4 months ago, posting consistently at least, but I started YouTube like originally back in high school. I saw Ashley Williams in middle school and I decided I wanted to be a vlogger for sure. I got a Canon G7X Mark II or III back in high school, and then I just stopped and eventually the camera broke because I never used it. So yeah, then the end of 2023 I was like, okay, I'm gonna start filming, but I'm only going to use my phone. So you can definitely start on your phone, but I was like, I'm only gonna use my phone, and you can still see a few of those videos up. They turned out really great. It was just that I had no storage. It's actually full of storage right now, even, you know, 2 years later, but that irritated me and I just couldn't get with it. And actually what happened was I was doing okay. I was making it work with my phone, and I got a trial of Final Cut Pro. We'll probably get more into like the editing softwares and stuff later, but I did a trial of Final Cut Pro and it's like 90 days. And so I was like, okay, I have 90 days to really see if I can stick with it, even with just using my phone, you know, not buying anything else before I spend $300 on Final Cut Pro. My computer died. It turned black and never came back on. I don't know when that was. I think it was only like a few weeks into the semester, so maybe like February. It was done for, and I couldn't get my trial on anything else because you would have to log in with your Apple ID and blah blah blah. I didn't get a new computer until spring break, which was March, which was right before my trial expired. Stopped YouTube, of course, when Final Cut Pro I couldn't get on that anymore, and I just didn't have the patience for it. I was like, you know what, that's my sign to just do TikTok and take a break from long form content because I can't balance it with school and work and everything, and I was working a lot at the time. I had bought a car, and that's a whole other story. So I stopped doing YouTube for a while, and then over the summer I just realized that I could plan my YouTube like series of a show, and instead they're just me trying different things in my life, and that's pretty much how it's gone from there. Let's talk about stats. Actually, when I started being consistent with YouTube in the summer, I started at like 30, 35, something like that subscribers, right? And now I have 119 or 120. It's fluctuating a little bit, but yeah, I have whatever, over 100. And so that's not a ton. It hasn't been an extreme amount of growth, but it's something, and I feel like it's much more reasonable to look at that than to look at, I gained 10,000 followers in 6 months, which, like, period, good for you. But if you're like seeing those and you're just like, that's a little much for me, I want to keep my hopes reasonable, I got you, reasonable over here. So we've grown in that regard. Now the views and like my engagement in general has grown a lot, and I've been really excited to see that. I think my highest viewed video was moving into my first apartment, and that was like 1 point, I know it said 1.2 at least. At one point it had my entire channel views at over like 2K, so it had me go up a little bit, and that one was exciting. I went from, you know, like 5, 10 maybe average views on my channel, like when you just open the dashboard, to averaging like 600. Like every day that I've opened it lately, it's been 600 or so. I hit 500 watch hours on my way to being eligible to be monetized. And like my regular average watch hours are now in like 70, 80 range, and of course they started at like 0. So we did a little something. All that to say, keep your hopes reasonable, but like just think of it as, you know, documenting your own memories of your own life and wanting to look back on it in 10, 20 years. Because I'm just like, in 10, 20 years, I will be nothing but happy that I filmed my life. Does that make sense? Anyway, let's start with what you need in terms of physical things, because I was telling you I got it all right here. I'll tell you what you need and what's just like, you know, very helpful, okay? But if you go my route, okay, we started with the phone. Preferably you have extra storage on your phone. Whether or not you have extra storage on your phone, when you're filming, it really helps to just pick specific shots and only film like 5-10 seconds max of any one specific thing, unless of course you're talking about something, or you know there's a full activity that you want to show. But even if you're showing a full activity, it helps to just turn the camera off and on and off and on, the record off and on and off and on as you're doing something. Does that make sense? Like when I was rock climbing, I think that's a great example. I had the phone set up to film all while I'm going up and going down, and who cares? Nobody's watching all of that. So when you're doing something like that, you know, zoom in, get a close in shot, zoom out, get a out shot, do a pan of the whole room, do a little, you know, climb this, climb that, pull this, pull that. But like, think about actions, okay? We don't want to see continuous steady, like you're just doing the whole entire thing. I don't want to be there with you. I just want to see the highlights of what you were doing, okay? So that's, in general, that's how you need to film. It helps a lot to keep your storage up if you're just doing quick little clips here and there, and especially if you're trying to airdrop it to the computer so that you can edit all of that. It helps to just have it as small as possible. Start there. Once you started there, you need something to edit on. Now, like I said, I used Final Cut Pro. I love editing on my computer. Now, I have a MacBook Air. I definitely recommend a Pro down the line. They're able to handle editing software so much better, but your Air will be just fine. Now, there are a lot of editing softwares. Of course, I fell into Final Cut Pro because that's what Ashley Williams said she used, and I said, I'm just gonna use that. And I think it's so simple and straightforward and very, you know, I'm an Apple girl, so it just makes sense to me. But DaVinci Resolve is free and really, really popular. Really talented, well-known creators that I follow or whatever, they use DaVinci Resolve, or they've even switched from Final Cut to learn DaVinci Resolve. It's popular, okay? Great, cool. It's not for me. I tried it. Oh my gosh, that was like the most stressful 2 days of my life for nothing. That was so annoying. No, I will not even try DaVinci Resolve ever again unless I have someone to sit there and walk me through it. No. But you can check that out. And then CapCut, I tried CapCut, the desktop version. It just, I don't know, CapCut was cool, and CapCut took up a lot less storage. That's one thing we're gonna touch on Final Cut Pro in a second, but CapCut took up a lot less storage, so if storage is like a real concern for you, then that's definitely something I would say start with and check it out. But I just feel like it's very limited overall. So that's really all I have to say about editing software. I haven't looked into anything else for real. There's plenty. There's lots of things that you can find for free, especially on like the iPad. InShot is a cool app. I like that one for a second, but ultimately I use Final Cut Pro. Next up, what you might want to think about is storage. So like I said, Final Cut Pro takes up a lot of storage. Okay, even the smallest projects are at least 100 gigabytes or so. So I started with this hard drive right here. This is a G drive. It's 1 gigabyte. I had this when I don't know, but I had it for a long time. Okay, so I already had it. So I was just using that. Now 1 gigabyte, or maybe it's a terabyte. I don't know the proper terms, but it's the T, okay? One of those goes pretty fast with Final Cut Pro, especially with bigger projects. I've had just the libraries of projects taking up a gigabyte by themselves. Easily. Once I started realizing that that's how it was going, especially after I got a camera. We'll touch on cameras a little later. We'll get to that. Then I invested in this. I think this is Toshiba, but this is just off of Amazon. I'm pretty sure the G drive. The G drive I got from Apple technically because it was while I was buying a computer, but I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. That's really not the point here. This is a 4 terabyte, gigabyte, whatever, hard drive, and this is the adapter piece, by the way, so it can go into the computer because, you know, Apple only does Type-C now, so that is something you're gonna want. Unfortunately, it's just a little side thing we gotta spend money on. I would recommend either doing 2 like I did, because sometimes it's kind of nice to have a backup hard drive, I guess, but just get the 5 at least. But you probably want 5 gigabytes overall to easily manage a consistent amount of content, at least in the way that I'm doing it. We have this here. This is an adapter for the SD cards, and this one has an adapter for a micro SD card. The camera that I bought that I'm shooting on now is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, by the way, and it only uses micro SD cards. So, you know, you have to have this adapter, and then you have to have this adapter so that you can put it into the computer again. Then, I'm so glad I went through this bag. I was looking for this ring. I have a penny here. I don't know. Always keep a pen on you, I guess. Whatever. And chapstick. You gotta have some chapstick in your bag as a girl. You just got to. This is the case for the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I'm going to use that to just kind of remind myself to tell you about the camera. This camera, okay, hear me out. Sure, start with your phone, whatever, but once you decide that you want a camera, and I love having a camera just so that I can use my phone at the same time that I'm filming, so it's less in the way of my typical day, if that makes sense, get this camera. Don't get any other camera. I don't need you looking around. You don't got to do all that. Although I will say I just saw like an Insta360 that looked cool on Instagram. But just trust me. Just stick with what we know, okay? DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is a little bit more, but in the same price range as any of the other cheapest but still decent quality cameras that you would get. So here's my camera story. I started with, so of course I had the Canon back in the day, but then stopped, it broke, whatever. So over the summer, I first bought the Sony ZV-1F because it was cheaper and I got it for open box, whatever, I get it. It doesn't shoot in 4K. I didn't realize that. And that already throws me off because I've never shot in anything less than 4K. And I just feel like for a YouTube video to really work, even possibly, it needs to be in at least 4K. Now you can play around and have some camcorder clips and like the old vintage style in there, but overall, you need 4K. That irritated me, but I was like, hey, I bought it now, I'm gonna make it work, and you know, we'll upgrade down the line once we make something shake, whatever. Well, then the battery died. See, my electronics have a habit of just dying when I'm not supposed to have them, I guess, apparently, but it died. And so I took it up to Best Buy. I told them, you know, I just got it. It died. They were like, oh, we don't have any of those in stock, but you can get the next model up, the Sony ZV-1, and we can exchange it for that. And I was like, okay, bet. This is just my sign to get an upgrade. I still had to pay $60 more. We're in like the $550 range, right? So that's how much I paid in total for a camera at this point. So I go home. This camera's cool. I used it for all my videos up until like right after, I think my move into my apartment video was my last video recorded on that camera. And the next video I'm still holding on because I still haven't edited it, but that's besides the point. It was cool. It was bigger. It's bulky. You have to really like be out there with the camera on a thick tripod when you're trying to film on the go. It wasn't the best quality in my opinion. I definitely think that the quality on this is way better, much sharper, much clearer, all of the above. And of course this camera has features like moving with you, and it's just so convenient how small it is. It fits in the pockets of my leggings and my jacket, on the side of my backpack. Like it's an incredible purchase, incredible investment. So I cannot like promote any camera better than this. I recommend starting with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 if you want to be a YouTuber in general, but especially if you know you want to be a vlogger, like film things on the go, film your travels and your memories and all those sorts of things. Get the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. At least start with that because I feel like it's on the cheaper side of a similar product. You know, it's $550 for the base, just the camera, not the creator package with the microphone. I did not get the creator package with the microphone, and if you have the money, I definitely think it's worth it. And sometimes I wish I had gotten it, but I really just don't think it's necessary. This camera definitely picks up sound a lot better than the Sony ZV-1. So I was like, if I can survive with that, I can definitely work with this. That's another thing to keep in mind, by the way. The Sony ZV-1, the audio was terrible. Terrible. I would be sitting right here and could not hear a thing. This, it might be a little quiet when I first upload this, but once I start messing with the volume, there's going to be spots that are really loud. So point is, keep that in mind when you're looking at your cameras. This is what I recommend, and I really can't recommend you anything else. So I have my iPad here. I definitely think my iPad, actually, that's why I need my iPad, because I wrote down things to talk to you about on the iPad. You do not need your iPad to start your YouTube journey, but I think it makes the planning process of things so much easier, so much more fun. So I still recommend it. And as a college student, you gotta have an iPad. Like, I don't know how you're surviving if you don't. You gotta have an iPad. I also wanted to tell you to find inspirational creators to you. That's different to everybody, okay? And it depends on what kind of content you want to do. You want to do gym stuff, you follow certain people. You want to do lifestyle stuff, you follow certain people. And I've found lately, as I was on YouTube just a little bit more over, especially like the past year, just the different styles that people can have even in their vlogs and their everyday life. So I will tell you some of my favorite creators and people that have really like at least inspired me as I've started this YouTube journey and to keep going. Kelsey, Kel Queen, whatever, I'll definitely tag her. This guy Bry, like Monta something, I don't know, but I just love his vlogs. They're so like peaceful, and it's just a lot of music, not too much talking. He just kind of has, it's just in the background for you, and I love that, and I've been trying to kind of put that in my videos a little bit, you know. Aslia Williams, obviously. Ashley Alondra, I came across her and I just clicked on a video and she got me hooked. I love her videos. They're just, they're like documentaries to me. Like you can really tell she's just trying to capture her life and show how she's growing in her 20s, and I'm just like, oh, me too. The Green family, I love them. They're so cute to me. They just had a baby, and I love the way that they do their vlogs, how consistent they are, how long their videos are, and just the ways that they're able to have such long videos while still like keeping you engaged and transitioning through things, having like talk sections, music sections, chit chats, whatever, you know, activities or just day-to-day things. But usually they're always vlogging when they're doing like a bunch of errands or something, so you have some sort of, you know, activity, entertainment, special thing going on in the video. I like that. This guy Lo, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I just love the way that he color grades his stuff. I love his colors. They're absolutely amazing. I want to buy his little, what's it called, like LUTs, I think it is. See, I should know this stuff, and I can tell you some about it, but right now it's not all coming to me. But I want to buy his little effects so bad, but I don't even think they work with the conversion thing that I have on my camera. I shoot in D-Log, by the way. I shoot in D-Log, but all I do is convert it back to like Rec 709, and I don't even color grade. That's something I want to get into this year. We'll get to that. Last, certainly not least, Diera. I love Diera's videos. They feel like a whole TV show, a whole production. I feel like I'm watching HGTV, but Diera, if that makes any sense at all. So those are some of my inspirations. Look around, find yours, and I feel like it also helps to just, as you keep seeing these people post and you keep seeing how they keep people engaged. How do I even explain this? I just feel like when you have certain inspirational creators that, you know, you aspire to be like in some way, shape, or form, then when you see them drop new videos, but they might not be as consistent, they might be really consistent, then you just feel a little pushed to, you know, keep on going on your own thing. At least I do, because I'm just like, oh, they took a little week off. I can take a break, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back, yeah. And so, I don't know. That's what makes sense to me. This was another thing I really wanted to talk about. Decide how you want to make content. So decide if you want it to be scheduled, if you want to do it just based off being inspired by something, if you want to vlog every day or just like daily vlogs in general, if you want it to be very authentic and real and just, you know, kind of pop the camera up here and there, like kind of how Kels does. Or if you want to do like you have to have your full face hair done for your videos, whatever, things like that. Think about how you want to make the content, and I think that helps a lot more than thinking about content pillars and things like that. I still can't figure out content pillars because, well, I'm starting to, but I feel like they're more based on like the things that you're gonna do every day anyway that you feel comfortable filming, rather than like, I'm talking about finance, education, and lifestyle. See what I'm saying? Decide how you want to make it. I feel like that helps you to just start scheduling things overall. Like I said before, I like to plan seasons of like a TV show. So sometimes with themes like cooking, fitness, travel, hobbies, podcasts, things like that. So I just kind of plan it out in terms of, you know, oh, this is the season where I'm going to travel. Oh, this is the season where I'm going to get in the gym for real. Oh, this is the season where I'm going to explore the city that I'm in. Or in this one, I'm going to just pick up a bunch of new hobbies and do solo dates and things like that. Hopefully you'll be able to see that more next year. But that's in general how I like to plan my stuff, and I especially like to do it by season so it's not too overwhelming to me. I started by planning like 8 episodes at a time. Now I'm changing it a little bit. We'll see how it works, but I started with 8 episodes at a time, so basically 2 months. So you had a reasonable like spread of when you wanted to do things. If you wanted to do like a week in the life, you could fit that in somewhere. If you just wanted to do a video on coffee shops or hobbies or something like that, you could sprinkle them around, get the clips, put them together. Anywhere, there's that. And of course, think of which platforms you want to post on. You can try to add, you know, reels and TikTok and things like that after you do YouTube, or start over there and eventually come over to YouTube. I just like YouTube so much more. I think it's just so much more peaceful than TikTok and Instagram, but I've definitely tried to branch out to those. Instagram, I'm gonna try and branch out to this year. We'll see though. It's just, yeah. Time lapses will maximize storage, and sometimes they're really great, but a lot of times you don't want to do the time lapse. You want the little specific clips of specific action. Final Cut Pro is $300, by the way, but it's a one-time purchase, so it's not like a monthly thing like I think Adobe is. So I like that. Like, you pay $300 and you have that software for the rest of your life, supposedly. Hopefully. Try to edit at least 30 minutes to an hour a day. It really helps to have it as a daily habit, to like open your project, look at it, get excited to finish it again, tweak some things, at least like start and try, and then you might say, okay, this is really not what I want to do right now. But if you at least give yourself 10, 20, preferably 30 to an hour a day, then that really helps to just stay consistent, stay in that mindset of, you know, this is what I want to do anyway. Oh yeah, and keeping a separate bag with all your stuff on you really helps, especially so that you never really have an excuse of, you know, oh, I don't have the stuff with me, so I can't edit right now. You always have it in your bag, backpack, whatever, and especially with such a small camera and the hard drives aren't too big, this can be popped in any bag, tote bag, backpack, whatever. This was also a Christmas present, by the way. Shout out to my aunt, because I needed this. I needed a camera bag so bad. I was about to buy one myself, and this is perfect. It's cute too. I love it. Yeah, think of YouTube like your memory bank, like an Inside Out. You know how they go and they grab the little spheres and it's like one specific memory? Just think of it like that. If you want to grab those spheres, you probably want to see the happy ones. But sometimes in Inside Out, you know, they had the sad ones or the ones where you was mad, things like that. And I just feel like if you think about it the same way, then you have endless content, because there are certain parts about your life that you probably definitely want to remember. There are certain parts that you don't want to remember, but you want to remember that you came through them, that you overcame them, whatever. So just think of it like that. And the thing that I love most about YouTube is that you have time to edit the video. So you can say, you know, oh, I want to remember this now. And then later you might want to say, but do I want it on for the public to be able to see too? I don't think so. And just think, you know, in 10, 20 years or so, when you're having family Thanksgivings and things, and you're trying to watch family videos, you can show your kids, your family, or you can just go back and watch it yourself and see what you were doing this Christmas 20 years ago. I feel like that's a cool concept. I don't know. Everybody doesn't think the same way, but I think that's a cool concept. And it's practical to store everything on YouTube because, you know, it's like the internet's memory, and you might make money on some of the things that you do, especially like traveling and things like that too. So you might as well try, especially for something like, you know, trying to cook or trying new hobbies or trying to travel. Just film it. Maybe you'll make back the money you just spent doing it. I still haven't established a niche, and that's okay. I definitely wanted to say that. I feel like a lot of videos when you're starting, they tell you, you know, find your niche, pick a niche. Don't pick no niche. Try all the niches and see which one was fun. See which one sticks with you. See which one you think, you know, I get up and I say, oh, I want to do this, and I want to film it, and I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be trying to plan everything out before you start your channel for the next year, and in the process you're sitting there for 3 hours looking at niches and deciding that you want to do this niche or this niche or this niche. The niche comes along after you've figured out what you want to do on a day-to-day basis. And the things you want to do could have nothing to do with filming. Sometimes you have to go to work and pay bills and do laundry and things like that. So it helps to have a niche that kind of incorporates that too. But don't worry about picking a niche. Just think about what you want to do, what you want to film, what you want to be able to watch later and see that you did today, tomorrow, the next week. Just think about that. Plan out how you want to film that, turn that into a cute little video, and go from there. No niche. Although it can help to outline 3 areas of expertise. So like for me, it's like college, cooking, Gym, maybe budget. See, as I'm saying it, these are not really areas of expertise, but college for sure, because I'm paying, I'm in it, so that's definitely like something that I can film every day because I'm in college every day. Cooking, I have to cook for myself. I don't have a meal plan, so there's that, especially grocery shopping, meal planning, things like that, trying to be healthier. The gym, I want to be in the gym more, but I think you're more so going to see just trying to be active in general, whether that's walking or whatever. Budgeting, I need to do more. See, these are more kind of like goals for myself. Car things, maintenance, upgrades that I just got, things like that, and story times in general. But yeah, it helps to outline a few areas of expertise. Like I said, just things that you're gonna do on a daily or weekly basis anyway. Self-care, maybe, something like that. By the way, if you go to Virginia Tech and you're watching this, just know that you can rent a lot of things from the school, like the microphones, the DJI brand microphones. You can rent those from the Honors College. You can borrow those for a long time, in fact. You can borrow computers. So what I was doing, and what I'll probably still be doing once I go back to campus, is I would rent out a MacBook Pro, and that would be my editing laptop completely until the very last step where I had to convert the colors, because I just couldn't figure that out on the other computer, the rented computer. But I would have 2 computers, and that was super helpful. So just know that you can rent stuff from the library. I think you can rent other things too. You can rent whole cameras. So check it out, especially if you're looking around at cameras and you're thinking you want to buy one, but you don't know if you want to spend the money yet. Maybe see if your school has something where you can rent out the camera first, so that you can really see if you like working with that camera, if you like how the footage turns out, all of that first. Finally, I wanted to tell you, no face channels are doing great right now. Things like playlists, background noise, study music, going to sleep. People love those. I love those. That and just any sort of playlist. You could do Brent, you could do Party Next Door, you can do Bryson, you can do SZA, you can do, I don't know, like the Flawed Mangoes, like the regular background music type of thing. You can do some jazz. You can use ytmp3.la for audio downloads. That's what I use. If you just look up YouTube MP3 or MP4, if you want to download like the whole video, visuals and all, converter, and usually look at Reddit posts and you can find something. It can be tricky because YouTube tries to take those down a lot, because you're not supposed to be able to, download YouTube videos, but that's how you can loop around that and try that out, especially if you want to, really plan and get certain things together before you start a face-to-face YouTube channel. Maybe try your hand at the basics of editing with a no-face channel and just put together your favorite playlist with a visual that you think is cute. It might do well for you. I don't know, but I know that I love to listen to those. So, especially if they're longer, at least 30 minutes, but long, like 2-4 hours, you got me locked in. You got me. And last but not least, I will say, when you're editing and you want to do something, like you want to add a certain effect, or you want to blur something, or make the text like flash in and out, some things that I've specifically wanted to do, go to ChatGPT first and foremost. Go to ChatGPT and tell them exactly what you're trying to do. Tell them what computer you're editing on, what software, obviously, and you can even like describe it more so as what you're aiming to achieve with that animation or whatever you're trying to do, so that they can give you better tips on how to do something related to it that might even look better. But ChatGPT, go there first, and 9 times out of 10 it will walk you through exactly what you need, and you don't need to do all this research and learning and learn how to do this and use this software and no. Just go to ChatGPT and I'll walk you through it for free. That's pretty much all that I have for you. I hope that this is helpful, and I hope to see y'all next time. Bye.